DeFi is great, but as you've often seen on Rect or on Twitter, there is a whole lot that can go wrong in really bad ways. We're securing literally billions of dollars with code that, you know, a lot can go wrong. And of course you have different exploits, flash loans, it gets pretty crazy. The people at Gnosis are in a really good place to talk about this. Their smart contract, their multisig wallet, I believe, is securing many millions of dollars worth of value, perhaps more. And it's a great time to learn about more about security in the DeFi realm. Lukas from Gnosis is going to provide us some insight on that.
Yeah, hi everyone. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining.
Can I start up?
Yeah, take it away.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, I'm here to talk about safe apps, and that's basically our way at Gnosis how we will bring multisig security to DeFi. As we've seen before, a lot can go wrong with DeFi, and we're just providing one more piece towards making the entire DeFi landscape more secure with safe apps. But first, some formalities. That's the guy talking to you right now. I'm Lukas. I'm product manager at Gnosis, and you can find me on Twitter or Telegram using this handle. Yeah, for those that don't know what Gnosis does, we're actually building essential infrastructure for decentralized finance. That includes basically how you create, trade, and hold digital assets. And today I'm going to talk about Gnosis Safe, which is our hold part of what we do. And for those that are not familiar with Gnosis Safe, it's essentially a self-custodial account that allows you to securely manage digital assets. It's a smart contract account, which allows you to have stuff like multi-signature schemes, which a lot of projects use to have collective fund management, which is super important, that not just one person in your team can run away with all your funds, but that's like you actually have this on-chain security, but also like a bunch more advantages from this smart contract account thing. But I'm not going to go too much into what Gnosis Safe is. Just here a little screenshot. That's what our interface, our web interface looks like. We also have a set of mobile apps, as well as a downloadable desktop app of what you can see here. So entire suite of interfaces, how we can interact with this smart contract account. And yeah, we got quite some traction recently with like end of last year, we had hit 10,000 safe accounts created on Ethereum mainnet, a bunch more on XDAI and other mainnets we support. While 10,000 accounts doesn't sound too much, even in DeFi, but the fact is that the users that use Gnosis Safe are actually projects mostly. So that's no names such as Maker, Synthetics are heavy users of Gnosis Safe, but also 1inch is storing like most of their 1inch vault tokens on a Gnosis Safe account, and it's mostly projects, but also high net worth individuals. And recently we have a lot more DAOs actually using Gnosis Safe. But yeah, the bottom line, it's mostly people that store a lot of funds because they require this additional level of security that is enabled through multi-signature. And yeah, all in all, we now store more than 15 billion US dollar worth of digital assets. About 20% of that is in Ether and 80% is ERC20 tokens. And actually on Gnosis Safe account, Gnosis Safe contracts, more than 2% of the entire Ether supply is currently secured. So that's right up there with the ETH2 deposit contract in terms of like how much Ether is stored in just this one single set of smart contracts. So a lot of trust obviously also is yeah, basically that showcases the trust that people do have in these contracts. They've been along for quite some time. We've got a bug bounty program running for over 2.5 years now, and yeah, so it basically became the standard multi-signature wallet on Ethereum, and now basically we are pushing for these safe apps, which is our way of how interactions with decentralized finance should work from these Gnosis Safe accounts. And we're basically, what is Safe Apps? We're basically putting how the dApps work on its head. So usually you have dApps that are standalone decentralized applications, and then you come and plug in your wallet. With Safe Apps, it actually works the other way around. So you interact with decentralized finance still through this one single interface, and then developer can build their own dApps into this interface. So it allows users to interact with Ethereum through the Gnosis Safe interface, while leveraging all these benefits that smart contract accounts enable, such as batching transactions and multi-signature security, which I will go more into detail later on. Here's just a few examples. This is a little Safe app that was built by the Balancer community that allows you to swap tokens through the Balancer protocol. Yeah, and here's an app built by the Savior team that allows you to stream money that you have stored in your Gnosis Safe multisig. And here, for example, there was a stream open that runs from beginning to end of March and just consecutively streams those assets to the recipient. And so you can already see that the user doesn't have to leave the Gnosis Safe. They don't need to go to the Savior app to do one thing and to the Balancer app to do another thing. So already quite some user experience improvements for the users. And we have a bunch more Safe apps that we are currently supporting that ranges from like trading on SushiSwap. That's an exchange from Zapper that we support, 1inch, of course. You can stake SNX tokens. You can upgrade your Open Zeppelin upgradable contracts. You can manage your request invoices. Yeah, all that stuff. But we're also working now together with projects to bring even more use cases to Gnosis Safe, involving managing NFTs, yeah, managing and controlling smart contracts, and all things that are surrounding like the use case of Gnosis Safe as a governance tool. So really excited about new capabilities that will be enabled through these Safe apps. Yeah, one benefit of Safe apps, I would ask you to like raise your hand if you've encountered this, but I'm now just assuming that everyone is raising their hands because that's actually quite a common scheme that dApps use when they have like complex smart contract interactions where they basically ask the user multiple times to sign a transaction. And this is, of course, not the best user experience. Like a popular thing is like an approve and call, which for the user is just one logical action, but the user is required to sign multiple times on their MetaMask. And with SafeApp, because it is a smart contract account, these dApp developers can just batch multiple contract interactions together in one single Ethereum transaction, obviously making this a much better experience for the user. So you can see on the left side, this was a Balancer exchange interaction where a proof was made, and then the second action you can see was actually the trade, and the user would just sign this one transaction and wouldn't have to be confused about having to sign multiple things at once. And on the right side, you can see how multi-signature comes into play. As in this case, only Bob has signed this transaction, but it still requires one more confirmation from either Charlie, and Alice, or Denise to actually execute on this. So transactions are secured by whatever the user defines in this safe contract. So you can define whatever security scheme you want to use for your use case. You can have as many owners you want, and like say how many confirmations are needed out of those. And basically this brings more security also to dApp interactions, because we've seen in the past that even experienced users of DeFi, if they just use like a regular EOA account such as MetaMask, can get tricked. And this also just provides an additional level of security when you can actually have multiple people having to basically be compromised to have something go wrong and get wrecked. 500 million, that's the volume that was made just by the Aave Safe app. They've launched their Safe app mid last year. And this just shows that there's actually quite some volume coming through these Safe apps. And even though the user base is quite limited so far with 10,000, just over 10,000 safes, the ones that are using these Safe apps actually interact with them with quite a lot of funds. And this means that they are quite interesting for anyone that wants to get more liquidity onto their protocol, to build a Safe app to basically reach those users that are using the Gnosis Safe, by building one of these Safe apps. And maybe one more thing, definitely also those users that use Gnosis Safe, they are the least impacted by like high gas prices, because they usually, when they interact with DeFi, they do that with a lot of funds, and then it doesn't really matter if you pay like $50 or $100 for a trade. So that's also one more interesting thing to consider with Safe apps. Just to summarize again, that's the 3 things I mentioned so far. The benefits of Safe apps that you can actually build for multi-signature accounts in mind. For example, like if you see a multi-signature account, can sometimes it takes like some time until a transaction is confirmed, because multiple people have to confirm a transaction, and some dApps right now don't really know how to handle this, because they assume a transaction being confirmed and mined by within a certain amount of time. And if you build a Safe app, you can actually take that into consideration and build your user flow around this. And we also make this easier for developers. Then you can leverage the transaction batching, so you can batch multiple transactions together, which also makes it easier to handle these multi-signature accounts, because you don't have to go through the flow of collecting those signatures multiple times, but just one time for one logical action on DeFi. And third thing, you can tap into this existing user base of $15 billion worth of funds stored, and obviously like ton more in NFTs and other digital assets. So yeah, and we also provide a ton of developer tooling. So even though it might not yet be the easiest way to create dApps, we definitely want to get there. That building a Safe app is basically the easiest way to build an interface to your protocol. And yeah, what we also like to see, or how we like to envision Safe apps in the future, is that they become these community-driven dApps, where like the protocol teams really focus on like building the protocol, and the UIs to this are then being created and maintained by the community, and maybe funded by a DAO or something like that. And Safe apps allow this, because they make it easier for these dApps to live on, say, IPFS. Most of our current Safe apps are actually hosted on IPFS, and we are working on processes how basically maintaining these dApps as a community project is getting easier, and how these dApps are then getting listed and shown in our interface is being enabled for these community-built dApps. So also super excited to see how this basically involves this ecosystem. Yeah, just mentioning the bounty that we, yeah?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just mentioning the bounty that we have at ETHDenver. We do have a $5,000 bounty for anyone building a Safe app. So even if your hack is currently just a standalone app, try to make it a Safe app as well. Richard, who's the tech lead in the Safe team, did a tech demo recently at ETHDenver, showing how this can be done in like half an hour. So definitely recommend everyone doing that. Some more information on the bounty down there. If you want to get started with building a Safe app, here's the link to our documentation, where you can find some tutorials and some guides to get started. And also a good place to get in touch with us is our Discord at chat.gnosis.io. I will also hang around there for half an hour after this talk in the voice chat in case you have any questions. And that's basically it. GnosisSafe.io is the best place to just get more information about Gnosis Safe if you're interested, if you want to create your own Gnosis Safe account. And yeah, see you on Discord afterward.
All right, thanks, Lucas. I love the focus on UI too. Every time I have to approve a transaction like in MetaMask or with some flow, it always gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm like, oh man, this is not going to translate well to the mainstream. But these issues, as we can see, are being solved across multiple platforms, and the mainstream is coming.